The Doorway is a community of people who believe no young person should feel trapped on the streets or have to give up on their future before the age of 24.
When I first started going to the Doorway, I was not doing so well. I was fresh out of federal prison, on parole, and had a really bad drug addiction. I had low self-esteem and absolutely did not really see myself having a better future.
We give young people 17 to 24 years old hope that they can get off the street and join mainstream society. Change is possible. We are a community meeting every young person where they are at. We start out by giving every young person a safe place where they can tap into their innate wisdom in order to chart their own path forward.
What really made me fall in love with the Doorway was the people who dedicate their day to providing the support and care to the participants. The staff were non-judgmental, and they made me feel loved and gave me that confidence that I so desperately needed. Through the Doorway, I was able to set healthy, realistic goals that would help me succeed and have a better future for myself. They absolutely gave me the confidence and helped me realize that I can achieve anything if I put my mind to it.
When we take the time to listen to a young person and give them the opportunity to set a goal that's related to something that they want for themselves, something that they never thought was possible, or something that they've only dreamt of in their life, rather than us telling them what they need or should to set a goal about, they start to feel hope. They start to experience possibility. They start to dream for themselves, and they start to trust themselves. They see that we believe in them, and they see that they're worth it. It's this hope and this possibility and this belief that contributes to transformational change for young people at the Doorway. The change that young people experience at the Doorway goes into every aspect of their life, and they carry that with them for the rest of their life.
After being in the program for 2 years, I have now been sober for almost 3 years, been off parole and charge-free for 2 years, and I have a beautiful 1-year-old son and have a healthy, supportive fiance. I am now planning on going to school next year to be able to do the job I've always dreamed of doing. Without the support of the Doorway, I don't know where I would be.
The Doorway's story began in 1987 when the Calgary Food Bank was concerned about youth who were asking for food hampers but were leaving the items that needed to be cooked behind on the step. They wondered who was looking out for these youth, where were they staying, and they were concerned they might be living on the street. A philanthropist was invested in answering these questions and was also curious, if there are young people on the street, what would be helpful in getting them off of the street? Marilyn Dick and Carl DeLine, our founders, were engaged in answering these questions. And quickly it was determined, yes, there were young people on the street. They began to focus on what would be helpful in getting these young people off of the street. They went and spoke to the frontline workers who were supporting them, and they went and asked the young people questions directly themselves. What they learned was these young people wanted a safe space away from the street culture that they could go to. They didn't want to be on the street, and they wanted their ideas of how they could get off the street to be embraced. And they really needed access to legal income. So the Doorway began providing just that. And 30 plus years later, we're still committed to providing that to young people. And we're still committed to listening and learning from them. When we meet a young person, we commit to them for 2 years, because we understand the changes they are making are big changes and they're going to take time. We show them our planning frame, My Plan, and we tell them we're here to support them as little or as much as they need. Over the course of those 2 years, they have the opportunity to write 200 goals at the Doorway. These goals can be small steps off the street, like getting an ID, getting a cell phone, going to the temp agency tomorrow, or finding a safe place to sleep for the night. Or they can be as big as finding a career they're passionate about, or sustaining a 1-year lease on an apartment. No matter the goal, how big or how small, a step forward or frustrating step backwards, we're there to support them.
Last year, 61 participants engaged in the Doorway planning process.
1,738 visits to the Doorway were made by young people. 80% of participants have continued to stay engaged with the doorway throughout the pandemic.
2006 goals were set by young people through my plan.
97% of participants reported the doorway helped them to reach their goals.
60% of participants have successfully transitioned off the streets after 2 years.
Our community needs you.
As a volunteer, community partner, or donor.